Welcome to the deep dive. We've got a really incredible story in front of us today. It's from Famous People, English Stories,
Mm-hmm.
and it follows this young woman, Anya, from India. It's about how she went from being, well, genuinely afraid to speak English to finding her voice and honestly building something amazing.
It really is packed with these powerful moments, isn't it?
Yeah,
And our goal here is to, dig into those. What can you, listening, take away from her journey?
exactly.
Things like her courage, the way she practiced, her belief in herself, and how her idea of fluency itself changed. Lessons you can apply to your own goals, whatever they might be.
Right. Think of it as us trying to unpack not just how she did it, but the sort of emotional core behind it. So let's set the scene first. We're in a quiet village in India. Anya, she's 24, working as a school librarian.
Surrounded by books, loves English, reads it, watches shows, listens to podcasts, understands quite a lot, actually.
And it's a big butt,
Mm-hmm.
speaking it. That's where the fear kicks in,
Mm-hmm.
big time.
Oh, yeah. That heart-pounding, tongue-tied, mind goes blank feeling. I think a lot of people can relate to that. Should try practicing alone, in front of the mirror, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But the fear of making a mistake, of sounding silly, it was just paralyzing. She'd stop almost immediately.
And this wasn't just like a minor inconvenience. It really held her back from connecting with people, especially visitors, using this language she genuinely loved.
Until this one specific moment, sort of a turning point, the village hosted an international festival. And a tourist, Emily, from Canada, walks into the library.
Right? Imagine it. Emily smiles, asks the simple question, "Hi, do you speak English?"
A question Anya understood perfectly, of course, but nothing. The fear just took over. She froze, couldn't manage more than a nod, couldn't offer the help she really wanted to give.
Emily was nice about it, didn't make a big deal. But for Anya, wow, that silence, feeling trapped like that by her own fear, it was intensely frustrating. It was the push she needed, really.
Definitely. That night, the story says she looked in the mirror and something just clicked. It wasn't a passive wish anymore. It became a decision. Enough. I want to speak English fluently, confidently.
And not just a passing thought. She made a real promise, a promise to herself. She would speak English every single day.
Yeah, and this is key. Even if she was scared, even if she stumbled over words, made mistakes, even if her voice shook, she committed. She wasn't going to stop.
That focus on the doing, the daily commitment, not waiting for perfection, that feels like the real hinge point here, doesn't it?
It absolutely is. It's that shift from I wish to I will. Deciding to face the discomfort consistently, that's where the change starts.
Okay, so she makes this powerful promise. How does she actually start? What were those first, maybe tentative steps?
Well, the source says she started incredibly small, almost secretively, like talking to herself while brushing her teeth.
Really? Just simple stuff.
Yeah, like today is a beautiful day, just getting the feel of the words. Then she started a diary, only in English. Not perfect, the text emphasizes that, but every entry was progress.
Progress, not perfection. There's that theme again right from the start. She also used apps and videos.
Mm-hmm. Learning apps, watching videos, but actively.
Mm-hmm.
Pausing, repeating lines, trying to mimic the sounds, the rhythm, shadowing, basically.
Okay, so building a solo foundation, but then she took a bigger step.
Yeah, the source calls it the biggest step early on, joining an online speaking club.
Whoa. Okay, that's
Yeah. Wow.
that's a leap. From talking to the mirror to talking to actual strangers online, unmuting that microphone for the first time, I can just imagine voice trembling.
Totally. Face red, palms sweaty, all of that. The fear of judgment is huge, but the amazing thing was the reality was completely different.
How so?
Nobody laughed. Instead, they were like really welcoming, kind words, encouragement. You speak well, keep going, things like that.
Wow, that must have felt incredible. Just that little bit of positive reinforcement, like a spark.
Exactly. It lit a fire. She felt the joy of actually communicating, of being understood, even imperfectly. And that's where the confidence seed really started to sprout.
And you see the change quickly, right? The next festival comes around.
She volunteers.
Yeah.
She practiced some lines beforehand, still nervous, absolutely, but she put herself out there. And guess who shows up at the library again?
Emily.
Emily from Canada. But this time, no freezing. Anya walked right up, greeted her, gave her a tour of the library in English.
That's fantastic. What did Emily say?
She was genuinely amazed. Wow, Anya, your English is amazing now.
Yeah.
And Anya's response was so simple, so perfect.
Oh, what was it?
I've been practicing, just stating the fact. It wasn't magic. It was the result of that daily promise, that consistent effort.
Okay, so that positive feedback loop, the online club, the success with Emily, it gave her this renewed energy, right? That daily affirmation. I can do this. I will speak English. I am not afraid. Started feeling really true.
Yeah, and you see her weaving English more into the fabric of her day, listening to podcasts while cooking, quietly talking to herself on her walk to the market, like just narrating things. I need some apples.
Making it part of her life, not just a study subject.
Exactly. Which naturally people in the village noticed.
Oh, right. Surprise. Maybe some confusion.
Oh, yeah. Some laughter. Apparently, some thought she was showing off. But crucially, she didn't let it deter her.
That's important. She stuck with it.
She was starting to understand something deep, wasn't she? That fluency wasn't about reaching some mythical state of perfection. It was about the process, about practicing without fear, even if you sound clumsy sometimes, even if others don't quite get it yet.
And her confidence kept growing. In that online club, she felt brave enough to share her big dream.
Becoming a travel guide. And even though she paused, maybe searched for words, she said it out loud. And again, the group was just encouraging, reinforcing that her voice, her aspirations mattered.
There's that diary entry mentioned around then. Something about the dream feeling real.
Yes. Today, I spoke without fear. My dream job feels real now. You see how speaking the language was unlocking her sense of possibility for her whole life.
And then came another test, didn't it? An unexpected one. At the market.
Right. She sees these foreign travelers looking completely lost, obvious tourists needing directions.
And that old fear must have flared up again. Heart pounds.
For sure. The instinct to maybe just walk away. But the source describes this internal moment, a conscious choice.
She chose to help.
She did. Walked over, offered help. And the conversation itself wasn't, high-level debate. Simple stuff. She made mistakes, forgot words, but she kept the connection going.
And that feeling of being understood, even with the bumps,
Sure.
she called it magic.
Yeah, that simple human connection, bridging that gap, it was powerful. And that small act had unexpected consequences.
The school principal heard about it.
Exactly. Heard about Ananya helping the tourist, saw her initiative, her communication skills in action, and the principal had an idea. Asked Anya to help lead a new after-school English club.
Wow, her reaction must have been hesitant.
Understandably, but I'm still learning myself. But the principal had this wisdom, right? Saw that because Anya knew the struggle, because she knew what it felt like to learn step by step, she was actually the ideal person.
That makes sense. Learning from someone who gets it.
So she became a mentor, but not pretending to be perfect. She was really honest with her students, talked about her own nerves, her mistakes. I try every day. That's how we grow.
That vulnerability must have made it feel safe for the kids to try, too.
Totally. It took the pressure off. And you see the impact, like with her student Priya asking, Didi, I want to speak English like you. And Anya's answer just cuts right through it all.
What did she say?
You will. Just start today. Bringing it back to that first manageable step.
So the big takeaway from this whole period, the source puts it beautifully. Practice makes confidence, not perfection, confidence. That shift in focus is huge.
It really is. It reframes the entire goal away from some impossible standard toward just being brave enough to keep trying.
Okay, so her confidence is growing. She's fluent in daily life, online, helping her students. You'd think maybe the biggest hurdles were cleared.
You might think so. But then came a new challenge, a much more public one. The village council approached her.
Oh, what did they want?
They wanted her to host the annual Cultural Day event, and specifically to welcome the international guests in English.
Whoa. Okay. Hosting an event in English in front of everyone. Her reaction.
Pure shock, apparently. Freezing up again, doubting herself.
You want me? It just shows fear doesn't vanish forever. It just shows up in bigger arenas.
But the council saw something in her, didn't they?
Yeah, the leader pointed out, she speaks well. She represents the village's future. She's already inspired people. Sometimes others see our strengths before we do, especially when we're scared.
So she had this internal battle, presumably. The stage fright, the fear of messing up in front of everyone.
Absolutely intense. But then she remembered her own words to her students.
What was that? Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to keep going despite it. That internal wisdom, born from her own struggle, came back to guide her.
And her diary reflected that decision, right? Mm-hmm.
I'm scared, but I will try. I won't wait to be perfect. I'll speak with heart. That phrase again, speak with heart, is becoming her guiding principle. Authenticity over flawlessness.
So she prepares, practicing lines out loud, recording herself.
Working on gestures, eye contact, breathing, getting practical. Her brother even commented, "You sound like the people on TV," which must have been a little boost even with the nerves.
And then the night itself, lights, stage, audience, cue card in hand, must have been nerve-wracking.
Totally. But she whispered to herself, I'm ready. That little moment of self-affirmation.
Stepping out there, bright lights, the crowd goes quiet, deep breath.
And she starts, slowly, clearly, welcoming everyone. Then there's a pause. The kind of pause that used to terrify her.
But this time,
she looks out, sees the audience smiling, clapping encouragingly, and in that moment of connection, of acceptance, something shifts. Her voice gets stronger. The fear doesn't disappear, maybe, but it recedes. She feels connected.
And she didn't just read a script, did she? She actually hosted.
Yeah, introducing acts, talking with visitors during breaks, real spontaneous conversation.
And that interaction with the Australian tourist?
Right. Complimenting her beautiful way of speaking. Not just correct, but beautiful. And suggesting she think bigger, that her voice could reach the world. Powerful validation. It wasn't about perfect grammar. It was about the clarity, the warmth, the heart she spoke with.
The aftermath must have been amazing. Praise, hugs, cheers.
Yeah, her diary entry that night is just pure relief and triumph. I spoke English on a stage. I didn't freeze. I didn't hide. I did it.
It feels like this was about more than just language, wasn't it? It was about finding her bravery, believing in herself enough to be seen and heard.
Exactly. That stage was where she truly found her courage.
So, coming off that high from the cultural day, Anya felt different, didn't she? Like she'd proven something to herself, ready for more.
Yeah, she saw a version of herself that could operate beyond the village boundaries. And that internal readiness, that belief, kind of opened the door for what came next.
Which arrived unexpectedly, an email.
Totally out of the blue. From Lisa, an international education advisor who had actually been at the Cultural Day Festival and seen her host.
Wow. What did the email say?
It was an invitation to apply for the Global Youth English Ambassadors Program, a program specifically for young leaders using English to connect communities.
So Lisa saw not just her English, but her potential as a leader, her ability to connect.
Precisely. It wasn't just about language skill. It was about the impact she was already having, speaking with heart on that stage.
Anya's reaction must have been disbelief. And her family.
Total disbelief at first. Then her family's reaction was apparently really emotional. This is your moment. It showed how huge this opportunity felt.
But with big opportunities come big fears. Again, the application sounded intense.
Oh, yeah. Video intro, essay, and then a kicker, an interview with native speakers, the U.S., Canada, the U.K. All the old doubts flooded back. What if I sound silly? What if I make huge mistakes? What if I fail?
It's so relatable. She even avoided it for a couple of days.
Yeah, it shows that facing fear is ongoing. It's not a one-and-done thing. But then her student, Priya, gave her that gentle nudge.
The student becomes the teacher again, reminding her about being brave.
Exactly. Dee Dee, remember when you told me to be brave?
Yeah.
Maybe now it's your turn. So powerful. And it worked. Anya wrote in her diary, I will not let fear decide for me. I will try. Because trying means I believe in myself.
That connection, trying equals believing. That's a profound insight.
It really is. So she poured that resolve into the application. Spent hours writing her story, recording that video intro. My name is Anya. I come from a small village with big dreams. Submitted it, handshaking.
Then agony, I'm sure, followed by
an email. Selected for an interview. More nerves, obviously.
But her preparation this time felt different.
Yeah, she focused less on being perfect and more on being real. Letting her actual story, her passion, shine through. Not trying to guess what they wanted to hear.
Interview day. Nerves, dry throat, tech issues with the computer. But she relaxed when she saw their faces.
Smiling faces on the screen. And her answer to a key question really summed up her whole mission.
What did she say?
Something like, I believe that English is not just a language, it's a bridge, and I want to help more people cross that bridge. Just articulating her why.
Still, she felt unsure afterwards, didn't know how it went.
Common feeling after interviews. But 3 days later, the final email accepted.
Amazing. And the reason they gave.
It wasn't just her English. It was because her story, voice, and passion touched us deeply.
Oh, wow. That must have been overwhelming. Tears, celebrations.
All of it. Tears, hugging family, her students dancing with joy. It was a win for the whole community, really.
And speaking at the village celebration for her acceptance, her voice must have been different then.
Full of joy, this source says. I started this journey afraid to say even one sentence. Today, I'm ready to speak to the world.
It just drives home that point again, doesn't it? Trying is believing. You don't wait for perfect confidence. You act, and the belief follows. So getting into that program meant a huge life change. First time leaving India, heading to London.
Can you imagine? From her quiet village to London, the airport chaos, the goodbyes, parents proud but probably tearful. That first flight was literally launching into a different world.
And arriving there must have been sensory overload, like stepping into a movie.
Totally. The speed, the noise, different accents everywhere, trying to understand announcements, just navigating a completely new environment. It's easy to feel really small and lost. Even if you know the language on paper, real world immersion is different. But she encountered kindness right away.
Yeah, at the Welcome Center. She was honest, said she was excited but also nervous, and the advice she got, just speak from the heart. It echoed her own discovery.
And meeting her roommate, Naomi from Kenya, helped too. They bonded over shared nerves, decided to be brave together. That immediate ally makes such a difference.
The program itself, the workshops, all in English, that must have been challenging too.
Definitely. Keeping up, understanding different accents, slang, constantly asking people to repeat themselves, it's tiring.
And discouraging. She felt like she was back at square one sometimes.
Yeah, that feeling of like I'm back at the beginning. It shows learning isn't linear. New situations can trigger old insecurities.
But Naomi's support was key here.
Huge. Naomi pointed out that when Anya spoke, people actually listened. Not because she was the fastest or most technically perfect, but because her English was clear, strong, and full of heart. Naomi told her, you don't need to be fast, you just need to be you.
That's fantastic advice. Shift the focus back to connection, not performance.
Exactly. So Anya leaned into that, focused on listening closely, asking questions, speaking slowly, but making sure her meaning got across. Authenticity over speed.
And this led to her presentation at the cultural exchange evening.
She wore her traditional clothes, showed pictures of her village, and her theme, English as your bridge to connect with them.
Telling her whole story, the fear, the practice, the courage, the impact.
Incredible. The room went silent, apparently, just captivated. Then long, heartfelt applause. People were genuinely moved. Comments like, I cried, you inspired me, you made English feel human.
It wasn't about perfect fluency. It was about the power of her authentic story.
Precisely. And her diary entry nails it. Today I saw the power of words. Not perfect words, but true words. English is not about showing off. It's about showing up.
Wow, that's a huge realization. Fluency as presence, as
And
authenticity.
that led to another opportunity, right? A podcast.
Yeah, Voices of Youth at the university. Invited to co-host. Another kind of stage the microphone. Nervous, but she thought, okay, I face the stage, I can face a mic.
Using that platform to share her message more widely.
Oh.
If I can do it, anyone can. Fluency is not magic, it's daily courage, amplifying her voice.
So after London, Anya returns home. Same village, but she's changed. The welcome must have been emotional.
Oh, yeah. Children, students like Priya, flowers, banners. Her global journey connecting back to her local roots.
And at the village celebration for her return, she speaks again, but with a new focus.
Not just her personal story anymore, but a mission. She spoke in English first, clearly, slowly, emphasizing again. English isn't about perfection, it's about being understood, opening doors.
Then switched to Hindi.
Yes. To make it clear, this mission was for everyone in the village, not just the students, not just the young people. She wanted to open that door of opportunity for all of them.
Which led to the Global English Circle, a learning group for anyone.
Exactly. Farmers, tailors, shopkeepers, homemakers, older folks, mothers. A real community effort, making language learning inclusive.
And the classes sounded different too. Fun, relevant.
Definitely. Evening sessions, mistakes welcomed, lots of laughter, using local stories, songs, games, connecting English to their lives, not some abstract textbook world.
And still inspiring the younger generation, that teenager asking, can someone like me go to London?
And Anya's immediate, confident reply, why not? I was just like you. It starts with one step, passing on that belief.
This community focus then went digital. The YouTube channel.
English from our village. Such a great idea. Using her own story, her people, her place, to teach English authentically online. That first video with Priya under the tree learning together naturally.
But it took off. People responded.
Big time. Comments from learners all over the world saying how much it helped, asking for more stories. It resonated.
Which brought Lisa back into the picture.
Yes, Lisa saw the YouTube channel, saw Anya's continued leadership and impact, and offered a grant not just for Anya, but to expand the Global English Circle and create free resources specifically for other rural communities.
Wow. Her personal project was now scaling up to help potentially thousands. Her reaction when she told her students?
Pure joy, but also emphasizing the collective. This is not just for me. We are building something bigger now, showing that shift to community empowerment.
And this phase saw even more growth, writing her book, Speak from the Heart, the library upgrade, YouTube growing, other villages contacting her.
Just incredible momentum. But importantly, she didn't forget where she started, kept her old diary, remembered being that shy girl.
And that diary entry captures the feeling of this phase so well. Fluency is not a place, it's a path. I walk it every day with courage, with community, with love.
It really shows how fluency for her had evolved into this holistic journey of growth, connection, and using her voice for others. Building bridges became her central purpose.
But the story doesn't shy away from the fact that success brings its own challenges, does it?
Not at all. It addresses the reality of rapid growth.
Yeah.
She started feeling, well, completely overwhelmed.
Inbox flooded, phone always ringing, home is now an office, missing quiet family time.
Exactly. And that poignant message from Priya, we miss you at school, You've been so busy. Are you okay? That must have hit hard. A real wake-up call.
The realization that reaching the world can sometimes mean neglecting your roots, your own well-being, that's a tough balancing act.
It really is. So she had to make a conscious choice to slow down, get organized, prevent burnout for herself and her growing team.
That meant delegating, building systems.
Yeah, empowering local leaders in different areas, trusting them to take responsibility. She shifted her role more towards guiding and inspiring rather than doing everything herself. Mature leadership.
And crucially, protecting her own time, setting boundaries for family, for rest, for reflection. You can't sustain that level of output without recharging.
Finding strength and letting go of it, and trusting others. Her father asked her a really telling question around this time. What's the hardest part of your journey?
And her answer wasn't about English anymore.
No, it was about balance. Learning when to speak and when to listen, when to act, when to rest, when to lead, when to follow. That constant adjustment.
And her mother's wisdom. Balance is the secret. So simple, so true.
Her diary reflects this deeper understanding too. Fluency is more than words. It is learning to listen to others and to yourself, connecting language fluency with life fluency almost.
She even shared the struggle publicly, a video about balance.
For Voices United, talking about how speaking well also involves knowing when to pause, when to breathe, and the comments showed how much that resonated with people.
It adds such an important layer. The journey isn't just upward climbs, it's navigating the plateaus, the challenges that come with success, and finding sustainable strength.
And all of this learning, this growth, this community building eventually manifested in a physical space, didn't it? The Voices United Learning Center.
Right there in her village. More than just a building, the source calls it a home for voices, stories, dreams.
Sounds like a wonderful space. Posters, books, tablets, but also cozy corners, designed to be welcoming, blending the local with the global.
And that first class described simple greetings, emphasizing sharing, no pressure. And Mira, the shy girl from before, raising her hand to share her dream. I want to be a teacher. You see the cycle of inspiration.
It really became this hub, didn't it? Blending online connections, learners joining from afar with local traditions, parents getting involved, using English to share folk tales, making English part of their cultural life.
And that image of Anya reading aloud from donated books, a full circle moment from the girl afraid to speak in the library.
Definitely. Her diary entry sums it up. A dream born in a village, shared with the world, returned home to bloom. This center is a home for voices new, brave, and full of hope. Her journey enabled this space for others.
And the specific stories from the center show the real impact. Raju the farmer gaining confidence, Leela the grandmother connecting with her grandkids' learning, Mira inspiring her friends.
It's not just abstract learning, it's tangible empowerment, changing lives within the community. Those storytelling nights under the stars sound magical shared journeys, shared growth.
It brings home that final realization from this phase in her diary. Every voice at Voices United is a spark. Together, we light a fire of hope. Fluency became about collective courage and change.
Anya's journey, as captured in the source, is just remarkable. From personal fear to global impact. As the narrative wraps up, it pulls together her core reflections, her wisdom.
That central idea from her diary is so powerful. Learning English is not just about speaking words. It is about finding your voice, sharing your story, and believing in yourself. It lifts language learning into the realm of self-discovery.
And the advice she offers is so practical, so encouraging. Don't fear mistakes. They're steps. Be patient. It takes time. Be kind to yourself. Practice, speak, listen daily. Find community, learn together. Universal truths for any learner.
Her final message for Voices United captures it all. Your journey matters. Your voice is powerful. Together we grow fluent, not just in English, but in courage and connection.
And seeing the messages pour in from people she's inspired gives her that sense of peace, doesn't it? Knowing her journey wasn't just for her, but sparked something in others. Growth, hope, connection.
That final diary thought. Fluency as a journey of the heart and mind. Keep speaking, keep dreaming, and never give up. It's ongoing.
And her vision keeps expanding, doesn't it? Dreaming of new centers, reaching more remote places, planning international events. That message from Africa, asking for help, shows the need, the potential is still growing.
Her definition of true fluency has evolved so much. Not perfect grammar, but connecting hearts across cultures, building those bridges.
Sharing that vision with her parents, that pride from her father. It anchors her global dreams back in her personal life.
And that very last diary entry is so forward-looking. The future is a story still waiting to be told. Together, we build a world where learning is a gift for everyone.
What an incredible arc. Ananya's story, drawn from this source, Famous People English Stories, really takes us on a journey from deep personal fear to fostering a global community of voices.
It hammers home that fluency, or achieving any big goal really, isn't magic. It's built brick by brick with courage, consistent practice, finding your people, and understanding that perfect isn't the point. Connection is.
Exactly. It's about showing up, speaking from the heart, embracing the imperfections, and finding strength in supporting each other. Her story proves that overcoming our inner barriers can unlock unbelievable potential to impact the world around us.
It's truly inspiring. Thank you so much for bringing the source material to us today. It gives us, and hopefully you listening, a lot to think about. Ananya's path shows that building those bridges with words starts right inside, with finding and freeing your own voice, however quiet it might feel at first.
It really makes you reflect on your own journey, doesn't it? What's the bridge you feel called to build? What story is inside you, waiting to be shared?
Keep speaking, keep dreaming.